Senator Jim Talent served the state of Missouri in the Senate and the House for a long time. And he is also a former good advisor to Senator Mitt Romney when Romney was running for president. He's also a very good friend of Robert C. O'Brien, the ambassador being touted to replace Mitt Romney. So, Jim, good morning. I'd like to start there. Can you believe how wonderfully gracious Senator Romney is towards all the praise coming in from people who stabbed him in the back repeatedly in 2012?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think he holds grudges. And I'll tell you this too, you. I met Romney in January of 2007 for the first time, talked to him for an hour and a half. He just left the governor's office. He would have rebuilt the armed forces. We would never have had the sequester. This world would look so different today had he won that election in 2012. I can tell you that. He would have done that. We had a lot of
He would have been a great president. He would have had a great presidency. But Harry Reid said he didn't pay his taxes. Candy interrupted him during the debate. Hurricane Sandy hit the United States. And then his turn out the vote Orca machine failed on Election Day. It was a catastrophe of coincidences that kept him out of the White House.
Yeah, the turnout models, though, you have to say their turnout models were wrong, I think. And that had an impact on the strategy because he thought and his advisors thought that he was closer than he was. And so in the last debate, I don't think he was as aggressive as he would have been. I mean, look, this is counterfactual history, right? We can go back and look at a whole lot of things. But I mean, the world would be very different today, and to the good, if Mitt had won, and we would not.
So are you going to encourage our friend O'Brien to throw his hat in the ring? Jason Chaffetz is thinking about it too. I don't know; those two will talk to each other before they do anything. What do you think?
Yeah, they're good friends, and they will. I'd love to see him do it. He would have enormous clout on foreign policy immediately in the Senate. I'm sure he would go on those committees and maybe, pick one domestic one, banking or something like that. As you know, Robert is an enormously intelligent guy who adapts to different jobs and, different sort of ecosystems of influence very quickly. So I think he'd do a great job in the Senate. It just depends on what direction he wants his career in public service to go. And I've not talked to him since Mitt resigned, so I don't know. But I hope
neither have I. But I'll tell you what: a couple of navalists, Jim Banks and Robert O'Brien, arriving in the Senate, would bring to bear on the naval appropriation process exactly what we need: articulate focus.
Yeah, Jerry Hendricks would be happy, wouldn't he?
And we'd all be happy.
Yeah, at this stage, when we're at the 11th hour in Indo-PACOM, which is Indo-Pacific Command. You can't charge me $10. I explained it. The most important
wrong order there, Jim. But wrong order. But I got Gallagher for $20 yesterday because he kept saying the SWIFT system. I had to look it up, but I wouldn't say it unless I had looked it up.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to take a lien out on his assets to get it, though. I tell you, he's never going to pay that.
His house is in Green Bay. I don't think it can. I don't think there's enough money in a Green Bay house.
Well, I'd love to see the sheriff show up and try and, you owe $140. Anyway, now we're off subject. But I mean, the most urgent thing is to rebuild the Navy. And yes, Robert and Banks. Oh, Banks is going to be great in Indiana. I mean, look, there's a lot of reasons for, to be depressed about the country, but there's also a lot of good people full of energy who are trying to do something about it. And Robert would certainly.
Yeah, help is on the way. That's what I keep telling people. Help is on the way. And a new generation is rising of the people who fought the wars. And whether it's Gallagher or Cotton. By the way, I want to get this in quick. I've got a list. If Donald Trump is the nominee, as he looks like he likely will be, I don't know. Things can happen. My short list is Pompeo and O'Brien, because O'Brien brings out LDS voters in Nevada and Arizona. Nikki Haley and Tim Scott for the diversity, which I don't think makes a difference. And then either Tom Cotton or Mike Gallagher as combat veterans who would take it to the Democrats the way that vice presidents traditionally do. What do you think of my list?
It's a great list. Now, as you know, that decision is typically made late and typically made based on assessments of what the political imperatives are at that time for the candidate. I mean, that's just reality. Now, I do think
but Jim, very important. If Donald Trump is in the dock, if he's standing trial, Doesn't he have an incentive to name a vice president early to keep him on the campaign trail if he's the nominee after Super Tuesday?
Right. And also, what I've always urged candidates at any stage is get somebody who knows how to communicate. In other words, that person's going to have to carry the campaign's message on the stump. So everybody you mentioned is very good at that. I mean, Robert is outstanding. Tom Cotton, I mean, his interviews with you are just must watches for me. I mean, Tom is just, I mean, he's got a mind like a steel trap. So, yeah, I think the president or President Trump, if he is the nominee, any one of those would be good. He'll make the decision late, whoever the nominee is. Get somebody who can carry the message on the stump.
I agree, but I don't think late. If he's going to be in 4 trials back to back to back, those are court dates. You need someone to raise money.
I hadn't thought that through, but you're right.
I really think earlier is better if he's the nominee. I'm still in Switzerland, as is Jim Talent. Follow Jim on the site formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, @JimTalent.